How's it going, everybody? In today's video, we're going to be going over our number one buy and our number one sell currently listed in the A1 Edge Finder. Now, if you're familiar with these videos, they normally go up on Saturday and we take a look at COT data and retail positioning before we jump into our top buy and top sell. However, you guys have been enjoying these videos so much that we decided to put one out in the middle of the week as well, not just on Saturdays. So if you want your update on COT data and retail positioning, go check out that video. It's got the full breakdown of COT and retail, as well as the full breakdown of our number one buy and sell at that point. Now, I will say that has changed since then because markets are constantly changing and the Edge Finder is constantly updating. So we have a brand new top buy and top sell to go over today. But yeah, so yeah, again, if you want COT and retail breakdown, go check out that video from earlier in the week, but we can go ahead and dive right into this one. So we're not going to be looking at COT and retail today. Instead, we're going to be looking at AAII investor sentiment and the put call ratio to get an overall view of what investors' opinions of the market are overall. Are they overall bullish, overall bearish, overall neutral on stocks, indices, and just overall market strength? So we're going to find that out right now, starting off with the AAII Investor Sentiment Survey. This is essentially a weekly survey. Done by the American Association of Individual Investors, and the survey it surveys a number of investors about do they think that overall the market is going to be bullish, bearish, or neutral 6 months from now. And this is, again, taken every single week so you can see if overall market sentiment is shifting on a week-by-week basis, and if they think that it's going to be bullish, bearish, or neutral over the next 6 months. So here's what we can see by taking a look at the past couple of weeks. I find this to be really, really interesting. So blue is bullish, red is bearish, obviously, and this white is neutral. But what do you see over the last 4 weeks? Well, you'll notice that the bullish percentage gradually gets higher and higher every single week. So what that simply means is on a week-by-week basis, and you can see the weeks here, February 12th to February 18th, February 19th to the 25th. Now we're breaking into March. And here's this week's information, actually. Each week, investors are getting a little bit more bullish on the stock market right now. This yellow line here shows the difference between the bullish and the bearish. So we can see, for example, 51.7 minus 21.8 would give you 29.9. So the higher that this yellow number is, the more overall bullish the stock market seems to be, at least in the eyes of the investors. So over the past 4 weeks, they have been exponentially growing in bullish sentiment on stocks in general. So that is a very interesting thing to see. We can also check out put call ratio, which is very similar. Put call ratio indicator looks at the overall number of puts and calls being placed on the market on a day by day basis. So whereas AAII is a week by week basis looking ahead for the future, this is a day to day bias about what's going on right now. So market analysis, free trading courses, Edge Finder data, and special offers. What do these things all have in common? They're all available for you right now inside of our free Discord. You can click the link down in the description below to join the free Discord today and get access to all of this and more. Stay up to date with all the latest trading information and A1 content. And if you want to upgrade to our Gold VIP Discord that features every single trade that Trader Nick and our other professional analysts take, you can find the links for that in the description as well. So don't wait, go check out the free Discord today. If we're in this blue area, that means that we have more calls than there are puts. Calls are essentially bearish bets placed on the stock market, and puts are, calls are essentially bullish bets placed on the stock market, where puts are bearish bets placed on the stock market. And again, this is kind of the same thing. People are either expecting the market to be bullish or bearish. So they're putting puts or calls, and depending on how many puts or how many calls are on the market, we can decide if the overall market sentiment is bullish or bearish. And right now we can see that overall market sentiment is bullish. So AAII Investor Sentiment Survey is overall bullish and gradually getting even more bullish as the weeks go on, and put call ratio is showing bullish sentiment as well when it comes to the stock market. So definitely looks like it could be a nice potential long position there for you on the S&P 500, NASDAQ, things like that. Now, make sure that it lines up with your strategy and that it's something that you really want to do. But overall, investors are definitely looking bullish on those markets. Now, here's our top setups page with the neutrals removed. We don't have a huge list of assets to go over today, but we do have a fair amount of bullish biases. We have one lone bearish bias, so that's going to be our top sell of the day. No very bullish biases or very bearish biases, but that's okay because we're going to get a lot of useful information nonetheless. So our top currency pair is actually pound dollar with that score of +7. And then again, our lone bearish bias is USD CHF with that score of -5. So let's go ahead and jump right in like we usually do, starting off with our long position or bullish position. This is going to be pound dollar. Let's see all the data and numbers backing up that +7 score on pound dollar. So like I've already mentioned a few times, we have a bullish bias here, score of +7. COD data is a score of -1, and retail sentiment is a score of +1. Taking a look at these numbers right over here, we can see that overall COT data shows that institutional traders are favored long on the pound right now at 66.85%, but they're about 50-50 on the dollar right now. Not too high above 50% on the long side here. It's basically just neutral when it comes to long or short bias on the dollar right now. A recent change, however, does show a little bit of bullish momentum from last week to this week when it comes to the dollar, and a little bit of bearish momentum when it comes to the pound. So that's also interesting to see. Retail sentiment shows that overall day traders are 64% short on pound dollar, which is a bullish indicator for us. Seasonality shows a -1 score, and we can take a look here in the month of March. And historically speaking, over the last 10 years, pound dollar typically trades lower in the month of March. Our trend reading is a score of +2, and we can see that this thing has had a buy bias on it for a while now. +5 is the official bias score, whether that's bullish or bearish, and we can see that ever since February 18th, this thing has pretty much been listed as bullish biased, hitting its peak in late February with a score of +9. We can check out price forecast. That'll give us a better idea of how it's really been trending, because we can take a look at this day-by-day price chart. So here is pound dollar. And yeah, so I mean, not a ton of movement from, we're looking back to February 20th up to it peaked on the 27th right here in this little move. So not a ton of movement, just slow, steady growth here. A little bit of a dip into March, but ever since March, it's pretty much just traded higher every single day since then. And price forecast does predict that it will continue to do so. Finish up with our fundamental data. We have an economy score of +2 as well as a labor market score of +2. Inflation and interest rates both are scores of +1. We can take a look at those numbers right down here. So GDP growth in the UK, -0.3% compared to 3.2% in the US. MPMI 0.5 compared to 1.5. Retail numbers 6.7 compared to -1.2. Inflation in the UK right now is at 4% compared to 3.1% in the US. Unemployment 3.8% compared to 3.9. These are brand new unemployment numbers, by the way. NFP just happened today. This is getting recorded on Friday. So of course, whenever there's brand new news, the Edge Finder gets updated automatically, to keep up with everything and keep our biases as accurate as possible. So brand new unemployment data just got dropped today, 3.9% unemployment in the US right now. Finishing up with interest rates, 5.25% on the pound compared to 5.5% on the US dollar. So there we go. That's all the data and numbers backing up that bullish bias +7 score on the pound dollar. The other pair we said we're going to take a look at, was USD CHF. So we're sticking with the major currency pairs, sticking with the dollar pairs. USD CHF score of -5. Now this says score of -4. Let's see what the difference is here. COT +1, retail -1, seasonality, trend reading +1, -1. There we go. So on this one, we have a trend reading score of -1. Here we have a trend reading score of -2. So let's take a look at price forecast to start this off with and figure out if we really need a +1 or a -1 or a -2 score here. I mean, this thing is absolutely tanked since March 5th. Right, you can see that it was in the bit of a range. It was going up and down for a little while. It had a nice move to the upside. It topped out on March 5th and then just went straight down afterwards. So yeah, I mean, recently I would give this a -2 trend reading score over the past like 3 days or so. But overall, all the way back to February 20th rather, probably a -1 score, but we will continue on nonetheless. COT data score of +1, retail sentiment a score of -1. Again, we already saw that the US dollar is pretty much 50-50 in the eyes of institutional traders, but they are favored short 63.71% on the Swiss franc right now. Both recent changes, again, last week's data compared to this week's data, were both positive for the dollar and the Swiss franc. Overall, day traders are 83% long on USD CHF as a whole. That is a big bearish indicator for us. Seasonality is a score of +1, and we can see that in the month of March, historically speaking, over the last 10 years averaged together, it's not a whole lot, but typically speaking, USD CHF does trend higher in the month of March, again, historically speaking. Our trend reading, we already went over. Economy has a score of -3, interest rates and labor market scores of -1, and inflation a +1 score. Now, we went over all these dollar numbers just a minute ago when we were looking at pound dollar, so I'll just stick with the Swiss franc. GDP in Swiss right now is 0.3%, MPMI 0.9, retail 1, inflation in Switzerland 1.2%, unemployment 2.4%, and interest rates on the Swiss franc are currently 1.75%. So there we go. There are all the data and numbers backing up our top sell of the day, USD CHF. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you are interested in the Edge Finder, or if you're interested in getting an update on that COT and retail positioning, go check out last week's video. If you're interested in getting the Edge Finder for yourself, you can find it in the links down in the description below or on our website, a1trading.com. And as always, if you want a discount on the Edge Finder when you purchase it, use promo code A1YT at checkout for a discount on the Edge Finder. Did you know we do a live trading show Monday through Friday with guests from all over the world? To get notified when we go live, click the bell button next to the subscribe button or check in at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We have helpful, free content in the description below and on our website, a1trading.com. Thanks for watching today's video, and we'll see you tomorrow.